just a quick update on my grievance from yesterday.
A pet project.
Yesterday.
So there's an update on the motorway.
Yes.
So what are they doing?
The director of Road Safety and Environment, his name is Mr. Joseph Amejake.
Of the Ministry or Department of Highways?
Yeah, he's the director of Road Safety and Environment at Ghana Highway Authority.
What is he saying?
So, according to them, they are decommissioning the dilapidated toll booths there.
Decommission?
Yes. So I'm going to give you a couple of details. Yes. If you go to page 27 of the daily graphic, we have that, and then also he actually gave us more information about what they are going to do about the road.
Than the deputy minister.
And what Jalula gave us.
He was on CNR yesterday.
Yes. Then please listen to him. Then at least let's listen to him on CNR.
Do you have the audio?
Yes. Let's listen to him. Joseph Achu Amejake, Director of Road Safety and Environment at the Ghana Highways Authority. He's talking about clearing obstacles on the motorway to improve road safety.
Go ahead.
What is the plan for the destroyed or the toll booth along or on the Tema motorway?
As you know, we recorded a series of accidents weeks ago, and then we are here to finalize arrangement for remedial works to be carried out to make sure that we reduce to the barest minimum the number of accidents that occur on the toll booth section of the motorway. So preliminarily, what we want to do now is to clear all obstacles on the way of the original motorway. This is the original motorway section. This is the concrete pavement. These ones are extension. What you see here are extension. So now we want to limit traffic flow to the original motorway section, so that any obstacle, the toll booth in the way of the motorway route section, we are going to clear all of them. So that when you are coming from Accra end, you are not going to pass through where we have vehicles currently passing. You go through the original motorway section, which is the concrete pavement section. So you will not encounter subsequently any obstruction in your way. And then we are going to also install solar powered street lights to enhance visibility in the night, so that when you come here in the night, actually you can see your way clear. And therefore, by that, we are trying to eliminate the risk of any accident occurring.
So that does it mean that you'll be taking off these toll booths?
So we are taking these three first. This one, and this one.
I'm taking them
off. So that at least the way of the road users is clear now. When they are coming, they can go through. And then we limit all traffic movement to the motorway, the original motorway section, which is the concrete section. And any other section will be blocked.
So this is going to be done on the Tema bound, but it's same going to be done on the Accra bound?
The two ends of the motorway.
How soon is it going to be done?
Yeah, we are here today to do the final assessment. We did some preliminary assessment, but here we are here to firm all the assessment that we have done. And then tomorrow you'll see some activity here.
The issue of also the potholes on the motorway, there are issues that these potholes should be fixed. Since you are in charge of...
All right, so that was Joseph Amejake, right?
Did he say anything in the story about the plans for the motorway proper beyond the toll booth?
I'm getting to that. So, as we learned this week, they are demolishing some of the gantries. Remember, somebody taught us gantries.
Yes, so an overhead.
Yes. So he says they're removing that
structure.
But it does not take away from the larger problem that we also spoke about, which is the road itself, that stretch. And on fixing the potholes,
what did he say?
Della Russell Oklu reports that Mr. Amejake said that patching works of depressed areas of the motorway, which continue to pose danger to commuters, will soon be fixed. The gaping potholes have also become a major cause of traffic congestion along the stretch, which previously was the most preferred route for many commuters traveling in and out of Accra to Tema and other parts of the country. Mr. Amejake appealed to motorists and commuters to exercise caution when using the affected sections of the motorway, while also encouraging them to obey speed limits to prevent accidents, which brings me back to my original point yesterday. With all that he has said, and he's dealing with safety and environment, why not impose strict speed limits for now?
Why not impose?
Yes, because it's he's saying that when you get to the parts of the road that are depressed, of course you have to exercise caution and your own intelligence.
How do you enforce it? Why you see the problem in Ghana is
Bernard, I understand your question.
They don't have what it takes to enforce it.
Bernard, I cannot take that. You see, this is not one of those scenarios where we should take the highway authority or the ministry cannot enforce sanity on a 19-kilometer stretch.
Is sanity on the roads the responsibility of the highway or the police?
Whoever they have to collaborate with. You see, Bernard, the point I am trying to make is that stretch now, as we speak, should be given the highest levels of urgency.
If they know what is happening there.
Which is why I'm still pushing a bit by saying patchworks will soon be fixed. When is the soon?
Yeah.
The soon is, you see, because like I was telling you yesterday, I will stick to that example. If this road was, say, the Kaneshie Circle Road that was having this problem, and there was this level of agitation, within 3 days they'll fix the road.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
Are you saying, the Kaneshie Road has more markets and things around it? Or is it more visible?
I don't know.
The motorway is a major road.
Yeah, exactly my point. And I'm just saying that if you look at the number of accidents on the road, the hours people are spending on the road just in terms of time, okay, and then the deaths that are happening on the road, we require a lot more urgency, progress with removing the boost, because those who use it say it's a significant problem for them. But outside of that, we have these patches on the road that is causing problems. So I am reiterating my point. Get people to it's not soon. In Ghana, soon can be 2 years. The La General Hospital was a soon project. It's been more than 2 years.
March 2020 was when they demolished it.
Yes, it's a soon project.
They've still not started.
Ghana, when a public official tells you soon.
And what is sad about this is that Mr. Jalula said to Caleb that things are in the pipeline. That's such I'm so surprised.
Pipeline and soon are the same.
Yeah, my point is, how do people still talk like this in 2023?
Yeah, it's safe.
No, but Charlie, I think they don't see the urgency.
Yeah, which is why we want them to see the urgency. If they don't see the urgency, a lot of Ghanaians are telling them it is very urgent for them.
Let me bring some urgency. So listen to this guy. We've been talking about the toll booths and the fact that they are not safe. When you listen to the highways guy, do you understand what he's saying? I'm not sure I do.
He's just being a typical civil servant who wouldn't want to say anything that when he has not been mandated to. I mean, he's just telling you basically what the mandate of the highway authority is, or is it the ministry or the highway authority? Highway authority, road safety. We are doing this thing so that we can ensure road safety of users and all that. But the main point is we are saying that the motorway has been disabled to a point of it's become a very dangerous place to drive. And we need to take radical decisions to, if you like, reconstruct the motorway. Okay, now how do you have a concrete road and then when there are problems, you patch it with bitumen?
First problem.
You have concrete. When there are problems, you go and pour coal tar and whatever on it. And then you have bumps and then you have cracks. Okay. Now, because of the architecture of the motorway, it doesn't lend itself to too many how do you call it? The slip roads.
Slip roads, yeah.
Okay. It doesn't lend itself to too many slip roads. So can you imagine if we have a major disaster on this motorway, what will happen? So, like Godfred is saying, the motorway has to be treated, this Accra Tema motorway has to be treated with a certain level of urgency. And I do not expect a director at the Highways Authority to be dealing with this. We expect the presidency and the ministry to take action. Because, you see, we are sitting down thinking that it just takes people from Accra to Tema. It's not true. It's not true. It's killing people every day. It's killing people every day. Now we hear of those who die. How about those who just get injured? Accidents on the motorway every day. somebody will say, oh, maybe it's because they are not driving properly. I mean, how do you come to that conclusion? We want action to be taken on the motorway. We are not saying that they should go and repair dilapidated buildings. They should remove the toll booths because there was an announcement that effectively stopped the whole, what do you call it? Collection of tolls, road tolls in the country.
Yeah.
Which announcement was not carefully thought through.
At all.
And I was expecting that, having had the hindsight opportunity, the government will sit back and craft a new way of generating road tolls for some of the roads that we have gone to borrow money from somewhere to come and build.
Which are now stuck.
And if we have taken a policy decision to remove, to stop this road toll, why do we leave the toll booths?
Or is it a temporary? So is it a temporary decision or a permanent decision?
Whatever it is killing people.
Charlie.
It is killing people. You see, we will wait until a high-placed somebody in this country falls victim to the thing, and you see that they'll go and do press conference there. That's why yesterday I said that NADMO should go and manage the Tema motorway. Because it's become such a disaster that it needs the attention of NADMO.
And by the way, the other road that I just wanted to chip in was the Accra-Cape Coast Road, which at some portions, if we look at the newspaper review for almost the past 2 months, every week there's an accident and a death. In fact, when on our news platform, somebody posts something about an accident, I know inevitably it's going to be Calvis from the central region because that
and from the same place too.
Is always, and sometimes I ask myself, so for example, Road Safety Commission, do they do newspaper or news story analysis where do they have any data on these things? And what do they use it for?
They do. Because, for example, papers like The Finder, I mean, that's where The Finder will source its information from,
so
classifying numbers
if you
year on
year.
year.
Like this number of deaths at a very short, so like there are roads that you know that people are dying in the day, in the night, whether it rains, whether it shines. Is there nothing you can do by road architecture or policy tweak or something? Or is it just a news item for you to publish? Because, okay, we are media men, so we publish the news. But somebody's job is to look at the road and say, if every week somebody is dying here, what is possibly the cause? Is it the nature of the road? Is it the street lighting? You get me? So that he's
human behavior.
So it's almost like in Ghana, we just report the thing and then we go and sleep. I don't understand.
People will be traveling to useless places, taking per diem for nothing. Every day they are traveling, they are going for conference.
To discuss the latest way something is done.
And then you come and sleep.
We can't see the thing too.
And then there are people who want to do good job, and then there are other people undermining them.
The whole thing. I don't get
doing spiritual things and undermining people. But what kind of country cry is this?
But I think on a more serious note, I think that the motorway and then portions of the Accra Cape Coast Road, as you said, should be flagged as national security red flags.
Bernard, you know that. You see, I don't know why we take pride in certain things. You know Samuels, you know this area well. The Winneba Trauma Specialist Hospital.
Yes.
The main reason why it was built
was because of the accident.
Because there were accidents on the road.
Actually, it was to serve the West Africa,
transnational highway. But that was the accident enclave.
Bernard, Samuels, when it was opened,
they said
the
that
Dutch government spent $18 million. This is 2013 matter.
No, that's true.
They said because of the number of accidents.
There's a high accident rate on that road. So we are putting this facility here.
No, but that's serious. That's serious.
Indeed, that we have high accident rate.
Yes. But I'm saying that, did we not then think that if this situation is so bad that we have to spend 18 million euros to put up a hospital here, we need to do something about the road itself?
But I even think that hospital has been underutilized.
Yes, there's a big complaint about its underutilization. Everybody rather goes to the municipal hospital rather than that one.
But you see, we are sitting here thinking that the roads that we have, like Accra Tema motorway, is just for domestic use. Look at the huge trucks from the Sahelian regions. And we have removed toll booths. So they know that as for Ghana, they will use our roads for free. Pay nothing.
And you know what?
And we are happy with ourselves.
Meanwhile, the load in those.
They are destroying our roads.
The load is destroying the
But
road.
you know, the last time
if you
Parliament.
use the road around, say, between 3 and 7 p.m.,
Plenty.
this is normally when they have been released from the harbor
Charlie.
and they are going
Onagbe.
all the way to Kaswa.
Plenty.
You understand? And these are, they have
Burkinabe
plates.
numbers,
Korean,
Mali.
Nigerian,
numbers,
and they are, you know,
Nigerian
some of them
numbers.
are actually wider than our own.
Yes.
So when you see a Burkinabe articulator, it's much wider. Sometimes it's even longer.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, so don't we know that they are just destroying our infrastructure for free?
Charlie.
Then somebody just woke up one day and said, "Oh, this road to my chum."
But you know why?
And
You
then
know,
that's
sometimes,
all.
you know why though? I think it's also because in Ghana, our decisions are not very data-driven. I'll give you an example. During the discussion around e-levy, because there was a lot of desperation to pass the e-levy, a lot of things were thrown in to convince Ghanaians to agree. So I remember, for example, they were saying that if we go to e-levy, we'll not go for IMF. So let's do e-levy. And then they said, why don't you even remove nuisance road tolls that are causing traffic and we are not generating anything from it? So that we would rather pay for e-levy. Now, I think the assumption was that the angst of e-levy will be mollified by the relief of removing road tolls. Because road tolls within that period were a very big discussion on air, where the traffic in Kaswa, people were talking about why I have to queue. Remember, there was a period in our radio live where people were saying, why do I have to spend 30 minutes in traffic to pay 50 pesos? Yeah. Remember that time?
Yeah, I remember.
So
I remember that.
I think somebody came up with an idea that, okay, let's remove the road toll. People will be a bit happy. And let's convince them that they will pay back in e-levy. You get me? And I don't think they did any research. I don't think they did any survey, but they were just looking at public sentiment at the time, and they removed the road toll. That's why Agboja kept telling you that the decision to remove the road toll was unconstitutional because they didn't go through the right parliamentary process. So I think it was a hunch somebody got, which has gone really, really bad, and it's become like a very, very bad joke now.
I'm not thinking that the clamor was to remove road tolls. I think it was relocation of road tolls because of the spate of urbanization. Many years ago, when they put the barrier there were very few residential areas there. But today, you have people moving to and fro on regular basis. So, what in other parts of the world they will do is that they will relocate the toll booth further away from the residential areas, still on the same road. You understand? So you end up, first of all, easing the traffic and also capturing more people to pay tolls. In this world where we are, there's no way you can maintain a first-class road, especially a road of international essence, without charging people. I don't know where. I don't know which country
roads that foreign companies foreign trucks use regularly.
Yes. Foreign trucks are destroying our roads, and you have decided that as for you don't want to charge anybody because it's a
but that's what I'm telling you, that it was because you see you are saying that the location had outlived, so the clamor, so they misread the clamor.
Exactly.
They misread. The people were not
they were not complaining about paying.
The road toll was exacerbating annoying traffic. Particularly for the places like Kaswa, where if you are coming into town, you have to spend so long to go home and just pay a small. And to compound that, there was a period the police was doing checks. So they'll put a security barrier and then you go 30 minutes and then they'll just put torch lights in your face and say, hello, carry on. Then when they finish that, you go and pay 50 pesos. So that anger, I think the policy makers realize that if we can remove the road toll, we'll get some funds on air.
You are still crediting them with policy making.
No, I'm saying, you don't get it. Those who made the decision.
Who? Did you had that people had sat down anywhere that they were thinking of?
I
one
doubt
day somebody woke up and just decided.
I doubt that the road minister would have announced the road toll cancellation outside of the fiscal offerings at that time, because the time the road toll was cancelled was a few weeks to the announcement of the e-levy. So it was a key part. It was not, he didn't just, I'm not saying he did the right thing. No. What I'm saying is that you cannot dissociate his announcement, that announcement which appeared arbitrary, from the discussions around e-levy and its unpopularity. So they were trying to look at a way of appeasing Ghanaians by making a decision that was not well thought through.
I think that it was arbitrary. I think that because, for instance, I mean, who would sit down and craft this strategy when you were doing road toll, you were removing road tolls to appease Ghanaians by removing road tolls in Accra and Kumasi alone? It's Ghana, Accra, and Kumasi.
No, but road tolls everywhere have been removed.
But not, what I'm saying is that not road tolls everywhere was causing the same kind of nuisance.
Yeah, but that's the point. So that's what I'm saying, that they didn't. I mean, the people were looking. They said that if you do road toll, if we do e-levy, you won't pay. You won't go to IMF. This was March 2022. By July, the president had announced to go to IMF. So I'm saying to you that it was not a well-researched position. And I'm also saying that the road toll was removed as part of the fiscal policy discussions of the government at the time. All right. So the road ministry did. That's why the ranking member kept saying that removing road toll was illegal. All right. So it just goes to show that when it comes to national discourse, we are not scientific, we are not data driven, we are very sentiment driven. Okay, and if you are the time of sentiment is that somebody can feel strongly about something and still be wrong. Number two, somebody can feel strongly about something at a particular time because at that time it's fashionable to feel strongly about it. Because maybe within that week there was a lot of traffic. So everybody was like, these road tolls are a nuisance. So the person said, if I remove the road toll, people will say, government, thank you. In fact, if you like, go back to the text messages we got the week the road toll was removed on this program. It's a good thing. So I'm not even thinking Ghanaians want road toll to come back. Now we are saying the toll booth must go because it's not part, because I don't think Ghanaians miss paying road tolls. I don't think they miss. The only group that complained was the people who employed there who said that they are losing their livelihoods. Ghanaians didn't even cry for them. So if we will not make decisions based on real data and analysis and rigorous debate, and we will use sentiment and emotional outbursts to try to get decisions that will be populist, this is what you find. This is what you get. So we will have to live with it. Now the highways guy says going to clear
the the gantries and the toll booths that are not in use.
They should reconstruct the Temamoto way. Stop this.
It has been renamed though.
This POD that they are doing. This, polish on debt.
Yeah.
They are just doing POD and then patching. I mean, what is that?
They call it Death Trap Avenue.
Yes,
but the other thing you also need to understand is that the motorway itself, they can't do it now because there was I told you this yesterday.
We had this conversation.
There was motorway expansion was another port expansion, which included expanding the motorway all the way from Tetekwashi to the Ashaman overpass and dualizing the hospital road all the way to the port. That was part of the project. It was cancelled in 2017. Now, that new project was to have been implemented by a Portuguese company. So the new government came with a new project. The Portuguese company, as we speak, at the time the contract was given, is bankrupt. So there's no money to do motorway expansion. Right? And then this week I spoke to the ministry who are even saying that the debt exchange has also encumbered many road projects. So there's not, I don't see how they will do this motorway expansion, at least in the next 18 months. I don't see it happening.
Okay. So we'll live with it.
So we should die.
No, which is why the two proposals are now useful. So either you declassify it or you do a temporary patching.
Yes.
You either declassify it and say, let's reduce the speed limit and let's have it operate like a normal road, or let's get materials to patch it whilst we look for money to do the main expansion.
Bernard, what is paramount at this point is save lives. However they will save their lives is up to them. But the most important thing, we the citizens, we pay you to think.
All we are saying.
Fix the motorway.
We don't want to die on the motorway.
Now,
fix it.
Now, politicians that are listening to us, right, at this point, please send a message to us that if you are happy when you are driving on the Accra Tema motorway, share your own experiences with us, whether it makes you happy. That by the time you are through with a 19-kilometer motorway, the kind of guilt that piles up in your head yourself, you should be guilty when you use the motorway.
You should be.
And you see, Bernard just said something that per the plan it doesn't look like the motorway reconstruction will happen in the next 2 years. Okay, fair enough. How about creating more alternative routes? How about creating more alternative routes
to take some of the
weight off the You see, people get agitated and infuriated because they don't have alternative routes. They don't have options.
Yeah, it's true.
The architecture of that space was just to link Accra, Ashaman, Tema through one major motorway. Now it looks like it has outlived its use. And so do we still call it a motorway and mess around with people's lives? Or, as Godfrey said, declassify it, change the way it's structured,
speed limits.
and all the things, provide slip roads, more slip roads into the communities, and then we know that it used to be a motorway. It's just what we have to do, because every government comes in, hey, we'll do it. When they are in opposition, hey, look at the motorway, it's killing people. When they come, then they turn a blind eye. And we are Ghanaians. It's become a joke. It's become a joke.
And people use it. Yesterday, somebody was telling me he uses it 12 times a week.
I mean,
12, and for some people, it's almost anxiety for them, because once they get on, they don't know what to
continue talking about this Tema motorway until then. Bernard, we have work to do. In the next 19 months, every day we'll be talking about Tema motorway, because yes, it has to be done. It has to be. Bernard, you see, your movement doesn't. On Sundays you use the motorway. You understand? But so technically, Sundays wouldn't be when you have the weirdest traffic situation. But those who use it every morning coming into Accra, those who travel to the Volta region on weekends, you see, the pain that they go through is not necessary. And next door Nigeria, they saw their problem. The traffic that existed in Lagos could not be described by any encyclopedia.
They've done BRT.
They've done BRT, they've done rail, because they want to solve their problems.
Actually, it would interest you to know that there was a delegation of parliament reporters that went to Nigeria in about 2006 to look at BRT. We've still not done it. Meanwhile, they've done the BRT, they've done the light rail, and they are working on ferry. So there's also something to say about Ghanaians and our lack of action orientation, where we will discuss the idea, we will come up with all the positive things that we want to do. And if you analyze our newspaper stories, most public officials will tell you, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, we are going to do this. There isn't a lot of we have done this or done that. It's part of our DNA. It's something we need to work on. Because we have all the things that we are saying that we have to do have been identified that they need to be done, yet they've not been done. So it gets tiring, honestly. It gets frustrating.
We want to hear from the minister. The two ministers.
Who's a resident of Tema?
That's the roads minister, lives in Tema.
Yes.
And then the transport minister. The two of them should answer this motorway issue.
Yeah.
They can't keep quiet. We will harass them.
What about the railway people?
Oh, the railway thing there. It's not. For me, it doesn't come in the bigger scheme of things.
This one.
No, it doesn't even come. The railway thing, no, dear. They have to even abolish the whole ministry. It's one of the most useless additions that we've had as a ministry of railway. What is that?
Summons.
Please.
Summons.
It's redundant. They should throw it away. The transport ministry, as we've always had,
should be the what we should have.
Should be the one to create policy for the different modes of transportation, including railway.
What about the funding that they are looking for?
That even the MMDAs can go and look for funding. So you mean that
you don't need a ministry to be set up
at all?
So what do you do to the people you've employed there, and the buses you've bought, and the buildings you've given them?
No, I'm just saying that creation was not necessary. They have created it. They can close it down like they've closed others down.
So they should close down
they should shut it.
So you are saying that that's a strong thing to say.
They should shut it, bring it back under the transport ministry, and then charge. Look, there are people within the transport ministry who can give you policy for aviation, for road transport, for railway transport. You'll be surprised. There are people sitting in Ghana here within the ministry structure who are giving consultancies to other countries for services that we so require that politicians are not seeing their use.
So you mean they are doing galamsey?
Oh yes, they do galamsey. And the people, they will go and create the ministry. No, but 6 years down the line, what has the ministry done? And you think that the transport ministry, the way it's structured, could not have executed this project?
Agodo, the man said they should scrap the railway ministry.
Oh.
You agree with me?
Why should even the railway ministry be an implementing agency? How can the railway ministry be an implementing agency? We have Ghana Railway, is it corporation?
Yeah, there's a
Authority.
railway-
The authority.
Ghana
We still have
They have a
it. We still
company.
have it. So why do you need another ministry? Because the
Okay,
institutional knowledge.
let me ask listeners. I'm not hosting, but the way the man is going, I like it. So our colleague is saying that the railway ministry has not served its purpose.
They should throw it
It
away.
should be subsumed back under road transport ministry, because there's nothing to show for its 6 years of existence. In fact, when we interviewed Enim this week, he actually said that some of the railways that used to work are not even working
They are not
anymore.
working.
And that in Takra, in the Western region, the only rail that works is the one that moves manganese from somewhere to somewhere.
That's somebody's business.
And that one self doesn't work well. And that all the Takrady rail lines are not working. And you know, if there's a poster child for railway, it's supposed to be the Western region.
Yeah.
Because of the cocoa, because of the timber, because of the bauxite, the gold and manganese. So if rail is not working in the Western region, where else can it work? Do you get my point? If rail is not working in the Western region. So Samen says they should scrap the rail ministry. Listeners, please, do you agree? He is calling for a scrapping,
Or they should close it down.
a scrappage, a scrapment of the rail. No, this one I want to.
Are
I
you
want to
telling
send
me
a
that
text.
the transport ministry by itself could not have supervised the expansion of the rail network?
Do you know why I will say they could not? When I look at what they've done with BRT, I don't have any confidence, because the BRT has not worked. And it was under the supervision of the Transport Ministry and the AMA.
And you believe that an independent...
I'm saying that. No, you see, I'm not defending the ministry. I'm saying that.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
If Transport
You
Ministry,
need the willingness.
if you look at Transport Ministry's track record with BRT, and you want to expand the rail, what confidence do you have that that ministry can do it? Because they've not done anything.
You see-
what's the greatest achievement of the Transport Ministry? Our transport policy is not working.
No, you see what I'm saying is that
GPRTU and Trotros overtake the whole country.
BRT is a collaboration between Transport Ministry and Roads Ministry. It's always a collaboration.
you-
There's no way you can do it without the Roads
Yeah,
Ministry.
this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that the country you just mentioned, Nigeria, it is very clear that there's a certain transport policy that is working, because they have diversified from just roads to, even in roads, they have the BRT, which is functionally working under Fashola, even up to this current governor. Then they have a rail that they've started, the Blue Line, we've seen it. They are working on the ferry, we've seen it. A transport ministry is supposed to give various options to optimize movement. And I'm saying that in the past 10, 15 years, what has been the greatest achievement of the transport ministry? They go and bring buses. Metromass is not working properly.
No, it's not working. That's not working.
The BRT thing, it's not working. There's no other alternative means of transport. Our transport system is dominated by poorly built trotros, which are debt traps, taxis that are not functioning. Even Uber and Bolt and things are not properly regulated. In any serious city, if you go to London, even the way you only do Bolt on the terms of the London mayor. So between the AMA or the assemblies and the transport ministry, the transport policy is not functioning. So if you want to do rail, why will you give it to the transport ministry to do?
Okay, so we set up a rail ministry and it has solved the problem.
No, ostensibly to do it.
And
they've also not done
after
it.
6 years.
Then-
What
then-
I'm saying is
then let's
that
come to
we are
transport
bypassing the responsibilities of the transport ministry to create another hurdle. That's what we've just done. For us to be able to do it, let's set up a ministry. How does a transport ministry or another ministry take the place of the railway corporation or railway authority for implementation? What I'm saying is that if there's the willingness to get it done, the presidency can bulldoze their way to get it done. We have seen major inroads which in the tourism sector, We've seen major inroads in the tourism sector. And you can link the tourism agency with the ministry to the presidency.
Well, the tourism is a very good example you gave, because when it comes to that ministry and that agency, yes, there was support from the very top, number one. There was a functional agency. And then they've had 2 ministers, right? And so you can even tell that the efficiency of that sector is not even linked to one minister, because prior to this minister coming, some things were happening, right? In fact, they've had
3. Good. Katrina Feku.
So the sector itself, so the sector seems like the stakeholders are all interested. In fact, I moderated an event they did at Pedro Silos where the president now came to launch a major thing. So you can say that. I will argue that when you have a functioning agency like the Ghana Tourist Board, is that what the name is?
Tourist Authority.
Yes, when you have a functioning agency that works with a like-minded ministry, policy head, good things happen. So let's come to the transport sector. Which are the agencies in the transport sector? Let's take it one by one.
Yes.
Apart from STC, that you can say in the past 6 or 7 years has seen some semblance of revamp, every proper thing in the transport sector is private led. Private people come, whether it's OA buses or VIP or whatever. The transport sector is in a chaotic state because the political leadership does not want to tackle, they don't want to lead. Because GPRT, hey, Protoa, So when you put politics at the altar of efficient running of things, why on earth should I be sitting? I have said this to the point of tears, that in no serious country will a lot of the people who drive trotros and the things they drive qualify as trotros. But that's the major mode of movement of our people. Bus stops, pacha. In fact, even there's no plan for setting up bus stops. As I talk to you now, when you are coming to this office, when you get to Adabraka Market and you turn right in front of former Placito, they are converted into a trotro station.
Yeah.
So the transport sector is not properly regulated because somehow the government thinks that GPRT is some strong political force. We've come up with ideas of, you can even do a trading of old trotros if you want to prioritize safety. You go to Germany and bring in a 15-year-old bakery van.
And then you
get to Tokompe and somebody takes welder to convert angle bars into seats and put upholstery on it, and you put human being inside without seat belt, and you drive them from Accra to Cape Coast. Me, when I was in an advanced country, we hire a bus to go for a conference in London. They say if you don't wear seat belt, you are not moving. One man, one seat. And it's a private bus you hired. The driver said, we are not even moving. Okay, so we are not serious about people's safety.
At all.
And because we are not serious about people's safety and the only thing we do is politics, we cannot crack transportation. Yeah, circle. Me, for many years, I was going to Dakuman, space bus. Driver will sit in bus. When I go later, I sit in the bus. The party get towel, they wear singlet. Get in Chostia, they fit 10 3 times before the towel. I mean, I never understood that thing. Then sometimes the guy will hit the side, they will pour water in the tin. Yeah. Willowbrook. Yeah. He will 10. We sat in that thing for years. So the transport sector is not properly regulated. The agencies there are not effective. The assemblies themselves have become decapitated. So now you want to use AMA. AMA is like a pizza. AMA is no longer what it used to be. The last time, I think the last functional AMA was the last time Chenche was there. Since Chenche left, the thing is, because even, so the whole thing has become, so that if we, the citizens, don't now say that this is what we will not tolerate. Okay, go to bus stops. There are many bus stops when it rains, you can't even have a place to queue. You can't even have a place to sit down. How complicated is it to have a place that you are going to wait for car? Or lorry station. People are urinating there, they are selling tonic. And, it's like, we don't even think that the safety and comfort of those we convey is important. Okay, so the transportation sector is a mess, all because the politicians don't think that they have the political will to crack it and do the right thing. Meanwhile, many countries go, Tanzania, South Africa, Kenya, people are doing trams. People are putting new things in place. Go to Circle and see what's happening there. Go to Kaneshi. Go to, like, we are not serious until citizens rise up and let politicians know that we want a better way of movement. Nothing will change because the politician on his own is not thinking about you. They are thinking about the next contract that they will do. They are not thinking about how to solve your problem. I'm telling you.
It's bad. Another thing is that politicians themselves, across board, don't subject themselves to the services that they provide.
Correct.
True.
They don't subject themselves to the services. So they always live above the service. And so their reality is always skewed. Exactly. The reality that they are supposed to have is always reported by the third person. This is what has brought us here. The transportation thing you talk about. You see the red buses you see on the streets of London.
The red bus.
Okay. Now, your mind tells you that these are the government effort, government buses. Those buses don't belong to the state. Those buses they belong to private companies.
Very good.
The buses that you see there, who have been brought into the system to provide the service under the strict set of
regulation.
That regulation.
So you think it's a government? It's not.
You understand? So government, this whole thing, let's go and buy the buses and bring the buses. No! You see,
Procurement.
we have done this thing for the last 15 years, and the thing is not working.
No,
It's
working for the politicians.
Even they have started complaining.
Because that landing bus you bring, in the Ghana version, the government will go and buy 500 buses and dump it somewhere.
Yes.
They will go and procure the bus.
You see,
when the
thing-
BRT is
look,
not even
this
there.
This thing of procurement thing. Look, I'll tell you something. I went to the system, you know, the central region system a few weeks ago, and I made a mental note of something. Where are all the ambulances?
Hey, the one district ambulance.
The one this one.
Yes.
No, one constituency.
Most of those ambulances have been parked.
Huh?
You go and check.
Hey,
In whose fitting shop?
Because they have not been able to repair them when they get damaged.
hey.
And then the issue of managing the fuel for the ambulances. Go and check, Bernard.
But I should have given us this scoop.
You know, what I'm saying is that, you see, we create the problem for ourselves and then pretend to be solving the thing. And then hope that the media will not talk about it.
Charlie, that's a serious revelation. So the ambulances, a lot of them are not working.
A lot of them. Because now I'm told that it's been given back to the
Garage.
the health ministry or something, or health service, one of them. And their bureaucracy is also not helping with fueling and you know,
So they've been packed.
a lot of them. I'm telling you.
So let's go back
So
to
this
the,
whole thing of let's go
Let's
and
go
buy it
buy,
ourselves.
buy.
By now we should know that it won't work.
But sometimes this is the
Create
problem.
systems, regulations.
In our political economy, yesterday, the lawyer who spoke at the Benchinchi thing said something that I took note. He said that government have 4 tools. Right? Government has 4 tools. Government have legislation. They have procurement. They have money. And then there was a 4th point that I forget. Those are the 4 tools that the government, and convening power. So government can ask people to come together, right? Now it says that if you want the government to work, you must look within those 4 ambits. Let me repeat the 4. Legislation, money, procurement, and convening power. Those are the 4 toolkits in government. So for example, in the London case, government can legislate and say, from next year, no car that emits this level of smoke will be allowed to run.
Yeah.
And we are going to phase out all old buses. That's legislation. All right? Convening will then say, bring all the stakeholders together and say, I'm giving you 2 weeks to think about how to replace all these dirty trotros in Accra, and we'll discuss the proposals. Money would be, they can go for a loan from somewhere to pilot the first project. And then procurement will then be to say, we will insist that this is the only type of specification we want. In our government case, they do the procurement in their own personal interest. So, for example, I'll give you an example in this area. You can say that if a mining company wants to source for certain things, they must source the thing locally.
Yeah.
And you are not going to allow them to import the thing. That's regulation. Then you can say that don't import the thing as a Ghanaian. If you want to buy as a Ghanaian, build it here so you can do an industry. That's smart procurement. So the question is, what do you want to achieve? You want to bring progress in a sector. Here, the legislation is fraught with corruption and partisanship. The government claims it never has money. It uses convening power to bring only people who are on its side of the politics, MPP people. Or now, in the case of MPP, NDC, probably the same. Then in procurement as well, they will give it to their friends and their cronies. So all the tools you have to solve a problem like transportation,
you misuse the tools.
You've damaged the tool. Do you understand? So this thing you are saying about London, even Birmingham where I live, it's the same thing. They will advertise and say, if you want a job that starts with a salary of £35,000 a year, and you'll be trained, the Indians and the Sikhs have taken over. They're driving. They will train you. And they are private companies, but the buses are all the same. And the buses are on time. Here, maybe they'll look for Godfred is my friend, so he'll go and bring 500 buses through some Korean company. They'll go and park the bus at some place before they think about how to do the road. You see, so sometimes when you even make suggestions on air, they'll listen to your suggestion and then they'll go and change it to do their own thing. So,
whatever we've been doing for donkey years, by now we should know that it's not working the way. And listen, we are not saying that everything in Ghana is collapsing. That's far from it. What we are saying is that there are low-hanging fruits, okay, and there are also the things that we are supposed to deal with on daily basis that affect productivity.
Yeah.
And transportation is one of those. And so far, the way we have handled implemented the transportation policy itself, it doesn't look like it's bringing value.
I have a question for you. The thing you said about London, do you know that the VIP, they do the same thing?
Yeah, they do that. So I know that.
What prevents the government from using that model? Because you know VIP is a franchise.
Yes.
It's standardized.
Yes.
So
you bring your bus.
So what I'm saying is that
and then the one Adakabre manages.
Yeah,
is that
so I'm VVIP.
No, Adakabre, no.
It's only VVIP.
It's not
The other one,
VVIP.
I'm saying that what you are saying is actually doable if they mean well. Because there's a franchise of buses. If you take a VIP bus to somewhere, you won't even know who owns the bus. But there's a certain level of service you get in the bus because the people who own the franchise have insisted on that. Now, you have Accra. The latest population census, Greater Accra has the largest number of people. It's a very densely populated place. So you can work a model to modernize transportation. But what have you done? You've weakened your assembly. You appoint people in your assembly because of the tripod. So the assembly itself, they don't have the authority or the convening power because they are sliced and diced. In some countries, like Lagos State, they are so strong, they have municipal bonds. Right? So one of the ways of freeing up government resources is to create profit centers from assemblies. But here, you've died.
Balkanized. Completely balkanized.
So if you are the mayor of Accra, you can't walk to Car Bank and say, here's a transportation proposal I have, which will pay for itself in 7 years if you can give me the facility. Because you have only 3 districts. Meanwhile, the Lagos governor can go to GT Bank, Zenith Bank, and say, I am going, just as I'm saying. So we are looking to give people appointments so that everybody will be happy. So you've balkanized them. So a country's failure, I think, for me, I always tell people that one of the most important people we need to appoint is the people who run your spaces. People who run cities and things. You've created these tiny, tiny fiefdoms that cannot generate any revenue. They can't collect refuse. They can't keep the city clean. They can't clean the gutters. They can't manage transportation. They can't do anything. But they are party people. Yeah, so you are not designed. The design that this political economy has created is not designed to bring development. So the thing the VIP is doing, they can't do it. They don't have policy credibility.
But we can even try with STC. We can try with STC because we all know and we have seen and we have experienced that STC has done a great job. I'm not saying that they are perfect. I'm saying that they have done something.
At least they've put in some effort.
Something that we are all proud of under the leadership of Nana Akoumia and his team. We can use STC as an example to expand the fleet of STC, build proper standards and regulations. These are the trucks or these are the buses that can be used by STC. You can invest in a bus which will be used by STC, and this is what you get in return over a certain period of time. We can do that. so that we rid ourselves of government having to go take the money and then go and buy and then put pressure on ourselves, and then the dollar will jimmy against the city, and then we can't pay. Look, you talked about DDEP and construction. And rightly so, a lot of the major construction projects stalled because of the debt exchange. So our inability to follow through with our repayments cost us something. And it is a development failure. And you see, this thing of ostrich behavior, when the problem is there, we should all pretend as if the problem is not there. Otherwise, you don't like the government. Otherwise, you hate somebody. And then what you want pain? You know how to say yes, we are going through pain, and then nobody is supposed to. Otherwise, no. The media of 2023 is not like that. Some media houses can be doing concerts. That's fine. But if the listener is depending on media and civil society groups to put pressure on governments to execute their own mandate, which mandate we did not foist on them. They offered themselves that we should vote for them. Mm-hmm. We voted for them. So now that we have voted for you, it is our duty as media to make sure that you execute your own mandate.
Charlie?
And whilst we are at it, what I will add is, government, please be giving Neoplan business to.
Giving who?
Neoplan. Because they are key. They are supposed to be a key element in this transportation thing. Our own homegrown company, and yet we are not backing it.
People support the proposal that the Ministry of Railways should be scrapped.
Oh yeah, if you go through some of the comments, lots of people.
Is he winning that fight?
Oh yes, Amens is winning that fight. But let's just take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll see the results of that election or that poll.
It has nothing to show.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
The power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
This is the
they campaign in good poetry and rude and bad prose, thinking they are on their toes. A soaring rhetoric, dumbed down to a mime. They are in power, people never get a dime. It's like having your heart broken by a very well-known flame. But really, there is no more heart to even break. And when it is election year, they huff and puff like we can never ever call them on their bluff. I'm here to serve, they scream out loud until we kill. Manifestos garnished for a people in need. And because we are trying to let our burdens lose weight, we fall for their lies until it is too late. We are blinded by showmanship of a candidate. We are to blame really, who hands a heart over to a blind date? Or maybe not, because how do we choose the lesser of two evils when there's very little difference between both evils? Or do we elect what we reflect? A people knee-deep in neglect for morals, conscience, and selflessness, expecting good governance, all the while making a mess. Yet all we hear them say is, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. Vote for me, 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 vote for me.
Mechiamo, Minianum, Mechiamo. Monkama Kumantumium, Namabadia, Namuntiana Mwaha, Media Sampana Nam. Abijidi sema ya krado. Mani tuasi ya kakakwa abato mremi. Ubehia ni obedi manim. Na nunti ana metu me ho ache sema ya mosomfo pa. Nunti wote menedi a na ya sempa. Masem tiawa. Masem nyina ne se ukoto abai to mame. The Akumapana Nam, and near my palm, I say, Mamma Sodia, the Buja. I mean, show Bobby. Oko to Mamma Name Bar. Ohani na to a cha. Ubotomu bed.
9:17. Still listening to the Citi Breakfast Show. Your messages have been coming through on 0549 986 996. Just a few quick announcements. What would you do with the million CDs? Mega 6 Lotto is giving you the chance to win big with only 2 Ghana CDs. The odds are always in your favor. Tune in to TV3 every Monday to Saturday at 6:50 p.m. to watch the daily drawing. You can dial star 266 hash or download the app on the App Store or the Play Store. Mega 6 Lotto is approved and regulated by the NLA. Mega 6 Lotto, Mega Winnings, Mega Impact. Now, Citi FM is announcing that we are part of the trial of the digital audio broadcasting in Ghana. You can listen to us live in Accra and Kumasi at the same time via great sound quality. And you also get additional value-added services thanks to DAB. All you need is a DAB Plus receiver, which is a DAB Plus radio set. And then you can enjoy great sound. DAB Plus, your radio is going digital. Now, if your biggest worry is how to get quality water, worry no more. Standard Water is here. 25 years of experience in providing quality water is something you can trust. Now, they've got sachet water, bottled water, dispenser mounted jar water, and customized water for your parties and other special occasions. Call them on 0202-055-703 or 0547-334-385, and this ad is FDA approved. Now, let's go through some of your messages that have been coming in.
Okay, let's just say which country cry is this. Please, Samens, we beg, don't give up on Ghana. You're not the people we look up to make Ghana great again. And this one also says, and personally, I don't think we need to hear from the ministers. They should speak with action. What else can they say other than plans are far advanced? Good morning, Bernard and Co. Why not patch the motorway with concrete as was done originally, but other materials? What are engineers doing to keep this road safe for us? Or Mensa from Insawam is asking. Bright from Hatcher says, Samen say, many of these politicians use V8 and do not feel anything when they drive on the motorway, so they just don't care. The way the motorway is, V8 won't save you. You feel it. Because you slow down somewhere. Better than team. If the system doesn't have money to fix the motorway, how will they get money to do connector roads? Bernard, I agree with Samens. Railway must go with Fisheries, Chieftaincy, Transport and Office of the Common Fund Administrator. Kofi from Osu. I agree with Samens. Bernard, Qatar Rail is just 3 to 4 years old. Look at what has been put in place. I don't know why we are still building antiquated railways. Kete by this time in 2023. Oh, Charlie, Mambo. Sebastian from Redco. Bernard, the most useless ministry created under this government is the railway ministry. Samens is more than right. Bryce from Hatch who says, I've always had the opinion that many of those ministries were set up to employ party people. I totally agree with Samens. It's a total waste to maintain a whole ministry just for railway when there's a transport ministry. So something that something which hasn't functioned in 6 years shouldn't be up for discussion. By Monday, it should be removed from our political history pool. So I agree with Samens. The railway ministry should be reabsorbed into the transport ministry. Bernard, you are there talking about converting angle bar into seats. Others cut up the frame and the chassis and weld extra bars to extend the length of the van to get more seats inside. Kweku from Lakeside giving further insight into that one. Koku from Oyibi says, good morning, CBS. All the changes you want in the transport sector only depend on the citizenry. The politician will not do anything unless the citizenry rise up. Just complain about overloading in Trotro and watch the reaction of other passengers on the same Trotro. We have a long way to go. Bernard, citizenry must start giving KPIs to key people in government. The salaries and remuneration must be based on the solutions they provide to our problems. We are tired of paying taxes and levies without any results. Those officers must be functional and not opportunistic. That's what this one is saying. Good morning, City CBS team. Part of the problem on the motorway is patching the potholes with asphalt instead of proper concrete. The potholes are at the same locations due to the poor patching work. Good morning, Bernard. This is Francis Akwete from Finland. I don't think we should blame civilians who cross the motorway. Where are the safe points to cross? the whole design has to change to suit the times because people have to move and they have to cross. That's what I'm saying. Either we immediately do a reclassification, which means you have to do certain things.
It's your reclassification there.
Yeah.
What for the personal?
No, better. You see, because the whole lane, you have people living on the left,
Yeah.
people living on the right. Like the person is saying.
And there are also
people are crossing the road.
The other thing you need to know is that there are industries along the
Around,
sprinter
yeah, so you
that
have
people who
B5,
live
all those
across
things, yeah.
have to. So workers take trotro
Yes.
and get down and cross the road to
And
work.
cross the road to work.
So it's not even
On the
legal.
motorway.
Yes.
On the motorway.
They could have done a tunnel for them to pass.
You know, so challenge.
But there's something that has been said that I don't hear comments on.
Which one?
You know, Samuel was saying that majority of the ambulances are not working. I really wanted listeners to let me know if this is true. Do you get access to the ambulances? Because it was at some point constantly one ambulance. Now I'm told somebody sent a message to corroborate what you're saying, that if I come to the Kolebu engineering place, let me get the name of the place. He said that a lot of the ambulances have been parked there doing nothing. Right? So it seems as if, yes, he says lots of ambulances have been parked at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital Engineering Department. So what is going on with the ambulance?
They're teaching practicals with it there.
No, we have to find out.
Medical school did it. So.
You know, we have to find out. Yeah, we have to find out.
Anyway, yeah. So, Bernard, this one says, good morning, Bernard and team. I don't think we should blame civilians. Yes, I read this message from Francis Akweta from Finland. For us in Pekiho, the motorway has become our valley of death. This weekend is Yam Festival in Peki, and traveling on the motorway has now become a prayer topic. Inside Peki.
Reserve some yam for me.
The motorway is now a death trap. It needs to be fixed. I burst a tire just last night on the Death Trap Avenue. They shouldn't say soon, please. It's taking lives. If any road should be classified as a national disaster zone, then it is a Fienya to a Suchari Junction road, especially where the monkeys are from SUV.
Charlie, that road, there are portions that have depressions that if you don't know, it can throw you off the road. Particularly when it rains. And there's no street light on that road. I don't even see why a major road connecting Tema to Akosombo should be that bad. You know, it's no street lights and some serious depressions at some particular portions. Very, very dangerous road to use. At night in particular. So I agree with this person.
Okay. Our leaders, especially the politicians, don't want to leave any mark or to be remembered. Almost all the inner roads in our districts are in bad shape. Our district assemblies are not working well because of a lack of funds. Governments must support the district assemblies to improve our way of life. Please, Bernard, I agree with Samens on the railway ministry. In fact, just like Cote d'Ivoire, all the built responsible ministries should be merged into a Ministry of Construction and Transport. Ministry of Roads and Highways plus Transport, Ministry of Aviation plus Ministry of Housing, because Ministry of Construction and Transport. By this would making savings in staff costs and in fighting sabotage. Will harmonize policies and strategy. Implementation of projects will be driven by identified problems. This is Kofi from Rich. Another team. It's not complicated to resist development. We have leaders who wax lyrical with serious matters of life. The rhetoric is just too much for an effective development. Let the country tackle the issue of square pegs in round holes. Then we will have the right people with the right thinking caps to effect the change we all desire. Okay, of the $2 million, go back please. Of the $2 million payment to an unknown company for the feasibility studies.
Feasibility,
Yes, for the proposed SkyTrain. I urge Citi FM to call the minister now for clarity on the subject. Yakubu in Chambers. Good morning, CBS. Your boss is right. We have never needed a real ministry. The Ministry of Transport is more than enough to handle all transport-related issues. Good morning, Nathan. The pavement blocks along the La Trade Fair stretch has been left haphazardly by the contractor, making the whole stretch bazaar. Please get them to fix it. A lot of such pavements are all over the country. It's an eyesore. This is a suggestion I want to make concerning the problem on the motorway. In nearby Togo, there's a long stretch, almost the length of the motorway, made with hardened pavement blocks. I'm suggesting that the Ministry of Roads can look at this suggestion and remove the severely damaged portions of the road and replace them with the hardened pavement blocks as a temporary measure until the resources are found to reconstruct the motorway. Wallace Heyman, Apedo from Madine. And the last one, good morning, Bernard and team.
Morning.
Per my little analysis, I realized that the potholes on certain roads, especially in the cities, are causing huge traffic. This traffic causes huge economic constraints. Economists should analyze this and see how much the country is losing. Oh, that we're losing plenty. Get out Kunaki from Asofan in Accra. Good morning.
Morning.
An alternative route to ease traffic on the motorway is the road that runs in front of the Kasapreko factory from the Spintex Road. There are people living in communities 18, 9 and 20 who are also using the motorway. This road has been totally ignored for years. This is Amma with that suggestion.
Okay. But that road doesn't lead you to the motorway.
No, I don't think
it takes you to KICC.
Oh.
And so people who go to church at KICC at times drop on the motorway in the middle of nowhere and cross that area. And people who live in that, it's a sprawling community. And the point about declassify, is it? That's the word.
Yes,
declassifying.
I don't even know if it's the proper word, but
well, whatever it is,
they understand what we are saying.
We need to change the purpose of the motorway because urbanization and has overtaken us. Okay, we haven't been able to manage the spatial discipline. We have not been able to. Where the kind of medians and the kind of spaces around the motorway that had been preserved over years, they've all been taken over. And so residential areas are springing up in careless abandon, and we cannot stop them because we don't own the lands. So we cannot stop. So the only thing we can do is to create more slip roads into the emerging communities and manage them properly. You see, if you create alternatives, it reduces pressure on the main road. And policymakers, remember that the motorway is not just for domestic use. I repeat, it's not just for domestic use. There are vehicles from Mali, from Burkina Faso, and all these areas who use the motorway for free with heavy-duty equipment.
Charlie.
And they are putting pressure on our roads. And roads don't cry, but they suffer. And the way you see that they are suffering is the cracks on the road.
I like that. Roads don't cry, but they suffer.
Yeah. So you see that, look, let's do something about it. And it's an urgent call for us to do something about this. From the motorway Tema side all the way to Takrade, we need to do everything.
It's actually the same road. It's funny when we talk about the Kasua road. It's actually the same road.
Yes,
because it's like Aplau to Elubu road.
And I don't know whether they've done the road patches around the Buduburam area, because there was a stretch
traffic
that causes traffic, and that stretch. It's like the place that military people go to at Achance. It's like a jungle warfare. Nothing happens. Charlie. Go to Winneba Junction to Swedru Road, as if the government is angry with the Swedru people.
Winneba Junction to Swedru.
Winneba Junction to Swedru Road.
But me, when I'm going to Swedru, I don't use Winneba again. No.
The place you use, is gone bonkers.
That was also sport.
The Akoti Junction there, branching to Kwenyakun.
Yes.
It's gone bonkers.
Oh, then I won't go to Swedru again.
As if the people of Swedru have been abandoned. And that one, I went to school in Swedru.
I can see some Agamalis out there.
I go. No. What I'm saying, so I go to Swedru a lot.
Yes.
And I see that. So don't policymakers use this road?
No, Swedru is finished.
Why? And this is Swedru. Nkuma's time, Swedru that they used to say Swedru, if I pay, if I pay, it means that the civilization and urbanization is Swedru. If I pay, you hear me?
There's even something that came to my mind right now. You see how the MP for Winneba is trying to revive
Winneba
with the tourism, the conferencing.
Correct.
I think there's something to be said about that enclave, Swedru, Winneba, Apam area revitalization. And roads and tourism will be very key there because they have nice beaches. If they can properly do the roads, it's a it's an alternative to Accra, is it not? It's like Reading to London. It should benefit from the the spillover from Accra in a more, you understand, because they have the beaches to build nice sort of tourism and hospitality things. But if the road leading there, because right now, if you send me to Cape Coast, I won't go. If you invite me to a program in Central Region, I'm not sure I'm going to go because I don't want to split in traffic. But if they can see the road as the opening to the economic revitalization of that area, do you get it? So a road investment should not just be seen in it costs us 10 million to build. Sometimes you should do your net present value on the basis of other sectors and how they will benefit. Okay, because like I was talking to somebody about tourism roads and how they should be seen, not just because you are building a road, because there are other things that can happen. That area for me is a very important enclave that we should think about.
See, and I'm saying that while we travel, every day we are traveling. Ministry people are going for conferences. We don't seem to learn anything from the travel. You understand? Look at the gentrification projects that have gone on in other countries. Taking poorly designed, poorly built urban areas and peri-urban areas and redesigning,
revitalizing.
And I think Winneba can be one of them.
Winneba is strategic.
We can take Winneba and gentrify the whole of Winneba, and you will see what will happen there.
It's fantastic.
Because the beaches are there.
They have university. They are not far from Swede Route, can be a commercial center.
Yes.
They have nice beaches. They have the trauma hospital. And look, if the road from Winneba to Accra were a dualized road, or they had the proper rail, I can live in Winneba and work in Accra. Because Winneba is not far.
Of course.
It's not far.
Of course.
And
We used to spend 45 minutes to drive from Accra to Winneba back in the day.
Yeah. And it's strategically located between Accra and Cape Coast.
Yes.
They have nice beaches already. All right. And there's a whole farming community from this, when you are moving to Swede Road, those areas. So it's a nice, so sometimes we don't think beyond just we don't have money now and things. We should link things. They've done about 3 or 4 parliamentary conferences there.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hotels are there, but they can start building it up and boosting it and doing those things there. So I just think we are not strategic and long term in the way we do things. Everything is short term in nature. So it's very tough. You know, it's very depressing. Anyway, are the messages? I wanted to
This morning, somebody on my Oswesco platform put something there which got me thinking.
What's he saying?
And he puts these proverbs or whatever, sayings.
Yeah.
He says that learn to use a needle in time, or you might end up needing an axe later.
Learn to use a needle in time, or you might end up needing an axe later. That's deep. That's deep.
We have low-hanging fruits.
That's deep.
We have problems if we start resolving, we can get somewhere. We will live like the Galamsey issue. We saw Galamsey coming. We paid lip service to the thing, patronizing people, exempting people, giving permission to people and leaving others. And we have waited till the thing has become a canker. Look, Bernard, you read Sam Jones' epistle. Sam Jones' epistle.
Yes.
You should read his take on Galamsey. And if Dr. Sam Jonah is talking about Galamsey, believe him.
He knows what he's talking about.
Believe him. I mean, I'm not. There are people who have all sorts of opinions scattered all over the place. This man doesn't talk by heart.
That's what I can guarantee.
He doesn't talk by heart.
That I can guarantee.
And if Sam Jonah is talking about medical practice, you can throw it away somewhere. You can choose to throw it away somewhere. If Sam Jonah is talking about political governance, you can throw it away somewhere. But if he is talking about Galamsey, please believe him.
Oh, that he knows.
And he is describing what Galamsey is doing to our economy. We have sat down. A piecemeal approach to solving the problem. And what annoys me is when politicians who we have voted into governance and authority are clapping for chiefs. That, you see, the chief has done well. The chief has done well. The chiefs are doing it because you have failed. In fact, the chiefs, the very noble ones, they don't talk just like that. So you won't hear them running commentary. They are just frustrated with you. That's why they have taken your role. Nobody voted for a chief, so you can't question him. But as for you, we voted for you. And this Galamsey thing, we might come back to it because the thing is killing us. Look, PURC, what's the boss of PURC?
I think water.
No, PURC. But they raised that. Yeah. You know, they have just raised. They keep raising the water.
Every 3 months they raise.
No, why not? Why not? Because it's costing
Ghana
us
water
100-fold of what we used to spend only 5 years ago to make the water drinkable. The water that we used to drink free, you know, now is costing us 100 times what it used to cost us to make it drinkable. Is it as a result of a natural disaster?
Nope.
Leadership failure.
And we are sitting here and we are happy. And you go to the offices of people who have been elected into power, the only water they drink is bottled water. So how would they know? We have cocooned ourselves into a space of you know, we have distanced ourselves from the reality so badly. We don't drink the water that people drink. So how will we know? Just move 50 kilometers away from Accra and see the water people are drinking. And not to say that Accra people are drinking anything better, but Accra people have alternatives.
I tell you.
Elsewhere in my village, they don't have alternatives. They have to drink the water.
The government, they are living in a different world.
So this thing is no more a joke. It's no more a joke.
I'm saying that
I've worked the Galamsey mathematics for you several times.
The government said the Galamsey, it's working. The Galamsey fight, the policy is working.
We want to take high marks for it in Kenya.
In Kenya,
2 days ago.
Yeah, they said the Galamsey, we are winning the fight.
Eh?
Oh, you didn't hear? Charlie, let's talk about the Black Stars.
Yeah, Black Stars. But we also have Business Olympics coming. So
thank you.
You companies September that 30. You have sat in your offices with your stomach like my own. Please wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Don't sleep.